just wanted to. I'd like to welcome all the councilors to District 1 and God's country here in Iona. And with the hospitality around, we got sun and plus 13 and the coconuts are falling out.
We'll come back next month, see this.
Warren, I think we just started taking John Neal Road.
A lot of advantages coming over this afternoon. We want to certainly thank Councilor McNeil for inviting us to host council in his district as well. So thank you very much. And again, thank you for the excellent location. Not only that, the chief financial officer didn't have part of the drive. So with that, we just a couple of other minor things I want to mention is that Deputy Warden Larry Doffey is not available, and he has sent his regrets. And also we have Ross McDonald, our municipal advisor, has joined us here this afternoon as well. So welcome to you, and we'll acknowledge your presence in the minutes today.
And I believe we have the mascot of the.
Yeah,
Yes.
We have two.
I don't know if we have been introduced.
We have two mascots here, yeah. Margaret and well, we enjoy their presence as well. Well, some of us do more than others. I'll just say that. So with that, the other thing that I just want to keep in mind, we don't have any mics today, so we're using the owl, which for those that may be joining us, the owl is what records and load their voices and their the visual part of our meeting. So it will focus on who's speaking. So I would just remind you, if you are speaking to the side, it'll either pick up your voice, pick up what you're saying, and then it'll also pick you up. So it may twist, just depending. So just to be forewarned. So with that, so the last thing that I just want to mention, and we'd like to acknowledge that this meeting is being held in Unama'ki, one of the 7 traditions of the Mi'kmaq and the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. So with that, we're going to open our meeting. We've approved our agenda, and we're going to ask Vince McLean from Central Cape Breton Community Ventures President group to come forward. Vince, please come forward. And Vince has a presentation that he's going to bring us through this afternoon. Welcome, sir, and welcome to council.
Want me to sit here?
That's a great spot, sir, wherever you're comfortable.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gordon, and I see some familiar faces here, and some not so familiar, but just to fill you in, I'm quite deaf, so I'm kind of interested in what we're hearing, what you're saying with this new technology. So I speak loudly. I want to first of all welcome council to Iona. The sign says, surround yourself in beauty logo, and also done himself today in that regard. And thank you for that. I also want to thank Rodney and this new facility. As you mentioned, Mr. Warren, you couldn't help but think about 60 years ago, this past August, my wife and I performed, we were part of a dance routine. I participated on the first concert here on this very spot. It was nothing but a vacant land pasture at that time, literally. And here we have a facility today that's #1 in the province as far as community museums are concerned. So thanks to Rodney Chesta and his team and volunteers over the last 60 years that has made this possible. I digress. I volunteer with a group called Central Cape Breton Community Ventures Incorporated. Unfortunately, our chair and president, Andy McNeil, is unable to be here. She's on her way back from Halifax and meetings in the area up there, and she asked me to fill it. Just to give you a bit of background, back in 1999, a group of us got together and this Community Ventures for short was incorporated under the Societies Act. And basically, its mission was to enhance the social and economic development of Central Cape Breton. Central Cape Breton to us means the Washington Peninsula, which is obviously part of Victoria County, but also Grand Airs and Christmas Island down to the bottom of Barriston. And coincidentally, at the same time, Transport Canada approached us and asked us if they were divesting themselves of the government wharf that I own, and they approached Community Ventures and asked us to take it over. Long story short, it happened, and we still own it, managed it, looked after it. In the interim, we've had no revenue. Prior to '89, going back to the '50s, the wharf was used extensively for exporting pulpwood. We ship about 25,000 cords of pulpwood out of the wharf there every summer season. So it was very busy. In addition to that, you had the mailboat ran twice from the deck, twice daily, before the Trans-Canada was open, and it could beat the train there, and so it was a pretty busy spot. And just while I think of it, historically, there were 18 government wharves in Central Cape Breton going back past 100 years. Now we have one, really. That's the one I own it. We have a marina at Grand Airs. So that's just a little bit of background there. So in order to, we were attempting to improve the economic development situation of the area. So we joined partners with Cape Breton, the Bedore Institute at Cape Breton University, and with Charlie Dennis, with the Mi'kmaq at that time in Eskasoni, and we put together a proposal called Aris Damara, which if your gathers know better than my own, it means house of the sea. And we promoted that concept, and we just we felt and still feel today that the Bedore Lake is a asset that is terribly unique. Not just to Cape Breton or to Nova Scotia, but to the Western Hemisphere. And it's brackish water and relatively pristine, quite large, great diversity of marine species and habitats. And, you know, it's a sailing mecca, and it has tremendous number of attributes. It impacts 2 federal ridings, 5 provincial ridings, 5 native First Indigenous communities, 2 school boards, and I'm not sure how many municipal, well, 4 municipal counties, 4 counties for sure, and different. So it impacts all of us, probably much more than we realize. Anyway, our concept was to, and is to develop a world-class facility that would be a shoreside facility that would augment the Bedore Lake. And it would stand on the pillars of marine tourism, marine research science, education, marine education, climate change and the environment, and certainly renewable energy. And talking about renewable energy, Bedore Lake, particularly the Barrow Strait here, is one of 2 areas in the province that has been designated as having special rates under Nova Scotia legislation for renewable energy. The other being down Digby area. So whether it's Big Bedore or the Barrow Strait, both of them have that potential. So as organization, we've been working in that regard. We see the Door Lake as a microcosm of the world's oceans. And we all know how important they are today in terms of federal and global thinking. And going back to 2011, I guess it was, some of our membership was very involved in the formation of the Biosphere Circuit over a period of 8 years, until that was achieved in 2011. In 2016, thereabouts, we began World Ocean Day. That was an initiative started by the government of Canada, which made a suggestion to the UN, and it's pretty prevalent today around the world. So our organization here, Community Ventures, we promote World Oceans Day this coming year. I think it's the 11th of June in June 2023, and it just we feel it's important to bring the awareness of the Door Lake to the globe, to the planet. We also have a weather station on the end of the water. Jonathan Buffett and his Mesonet. So you can go online and pick up the daily weather readings online, wind, rain, and temperature. In 2017, we built a multi-use center, a building of 1,800 square feet. And it's truly used for public events, of course, and markets. Sometimes in the wintertime, it's used for storage. Not this winter, as we're hoping to insulate it. Excuse me. In 2017, we also became part of the marine component of Trans-Canada Trails, which, as you probably realize, runs from Waikabama down St. Patrick's Channel to go down through this way, through the strait and up to Big Lake. And we have storage facilities there in the building for kayaks and safety and that type of thing. We're also part of the Nova Scotia Trails. And recently, within the last year, we received funding from Development Nova Scotia to what's it called, place taking initiative, I think, or something of that nature. And we're using those funds for signage and for a boat launch and the boardwalk and what were some of the other things we did there. Bathroom upgrading, washroom upgrading, and things of that nature. And those are some of the things that we've been involved in. Also, for those of you that are not familiar, the wharf is adjacent to a protected beach protected by the government. And at the further end of that beach is a picnic park. I own the picnic park. So it's a whole area. We're trying to make it into an area that's very agreeable to the public and to the children and the youth of the area and that type of thing. The other thing I mentioned, no revenues over the last 20 years, and that was true up until a few months ago when we were approached by a contractor to if they could ship some of their aggregate from the area, and so we did that. We gave them permission, and it was about 15,000 tons of aggregate shipped out offshore, and that really was only industrial income in the intervening 20 years. So in those intervening 20 years, we've been working, trying to developed this idea of Aristamara and fleshed it out and the potential that the lake has, because the lake is terribly unique. And it impacts all of us. I mentioned earlier about the social aspect of community ventures. And so for 20 years, we've been sponsoring wellness days, foot clinics, yoga, hikes and walks and things of that nature. So that has been quite successful, and some people really appreciate it and enjoy it as well. So that's essentially what we've been up to. Like I said, we have no staff, it's all volunteers. And funding, we want to thank the county for funding over the years. I know just recently we completed taking water out on the wharf and received an $8,700 grant from the county of Blanchard. Very much appreciated. It's potable water, and it's all the way out to the end of the wharf, and of course in the building, and the outdoor previews now have flushable water there as well. So that has been a very big undertaking as well, and we want to thank the county for that. We also wanted to thank ACOA and of course the MLAs and the MPs over the last 20 years, 20 plus years, for their cooperation. I've already mentioned about Nova Scotia, but also we've been fortunate enough to have a summer student for 6 or 8 weeks most summers, so that has helped as well. Of course, the time frame has been long enough, but it's nevertheless appreciated. I just want to assure council that we'll be heading with Councillor Paul up for additional funding. We'd like to, in the new year, we'd like to insulate the building, and probably put heat pumps in it until we get some go ahead on the tidal energy component. We'll have to work with heat pumps. And
Your time is up.
I just go through Gordon. What community venture means, and we've envisioned this since the beginning, is what is happening in the Inverness area. Where you have the private sector, the corporate entity comes in and has a vision and sees what the potential is. And we look forward to that happening here as well. You know, we've dealt with institutions and the government, and this is not a one-off presentation. But we need somebody, as a small volunteer group, we need a large player that envisions the same potential that we see economically here, and to capitalize on the attributes of the lake. The other thing I'd like to say just before I end up is, and this with all due respect, we've found over the years that when it comes to economic development officers, as good as they've been and have been good to us, after a year or a year and a half, they move on to somebody else. We're always trying to play catch up, and in the hiring of a new economic officer, she or he or whatever, I respectfully suggest that maybe keep that in mind, but I don't know how much input you'll have in that, but you'd have someone that would be willing to stay around for a little bit longer than a year and a half. It would be, I think, advantageous to not only us, but the whole county. No, Little Irish Gypsum in operation for over 80 years. It at one time employed 120 people. And now it's been bought out by a German company, and there are whispers that they're thinking about reopening it, and that would be wonderful for the county because for many reasons, employment is one reason, but certainly I'm sure it must provide 15 or 20% revenue of the county. I don't know, but I'm assuming that. And that would be a tremendous boom and asset as well. Going back 120 years ago, we had steamers on the lake. We had railway going through here, and this was an actual nerve center after the railway bridge was built. And because of everything had to move through the Barrow Strait. So it's not new, and then with the creation of the designation of the biosphere, and this is the nexus of the biosphere joining the two lakes. This is an important transportation route, and it has a tremendous amount of potential. So those are things that I want to mention in that regard. We'd like to look at Iona, certainly the whole area, Central Caribbean as a destination area. Certainly the village here receives 25,000 visitors a year. We have the Iona Heights Inn, and we have a liquor agency, and a pub, of course, and Joe's Chocolates. So there is the potential here for a destination area, another destination area in the county. And it's not a matter of competing against one another. It's a matter of synergy, I guess you'd call it. I look at the two new terminals in Sydney for the cruise ships and how that is impacted here. I'm sure in Ganesh, and certainly in Bell Museum and Rosebery, although it's in Sydney, it impacts all of us. And I see it's important that we view, I think, Britain as just one unit, and we can all help each other in that regard. And something totally different, and I finished up here. I live in Washington. The only chance to mention this to you. We have a pioneer cemetery that is washing away into the Bredor Lake. It's about less than half an acre. There's about 35 pioneers buried there. It's not owned by any church. Presbyterians that are buried there, but they've all long left the community 100 years ago, literally and figuratively. So we approached the couple that owned the property, and they were good enough to deed that cemetery portion of their property over to the Washington Community Center Association. So has nothing to do with any church. And we'd like to put some armor stone along that shoreline to protect those gravesites. I think a year and a half ago, maybe longer, there was another area in Victoria County that was in a similar situation. Our efforts to date, we formed a three-man committee, and our efforts to date have proved futile in terms of being able to solicit some funding. And I don't know what that would cost, probably $25,000 or something of that nature. If any of you can help in that regard in terms of bringing suggestions or information, I'd appreciate it if you pass it on to Councillor Powell, and we'd appreciate that. So, on behalf of Community Ventures and our membership, I want to thank you very much. I'm open for questions if you have time.
Thank you, and you've been very admirable for the chair. So thank you for your presentation today. We are going to open it up to questions, and we'll kind of raise our voices a little bit because I know that you had a little bit of hearing challenge. So does anybody on this side of the table have any questions or comments for Vince?
Just thank you for the background about the Central Cape Breton community. It's very nice to hear what's all the background. Thanks.
I'm sort of a dinosaur in the bunch here. I've been around a long time, and so I can appreciate, bringing people up to date.
Okay, and we're just gonna check on this side if there's anybody here that has any questions or comments.
Yeah, thank you, Warden. Congratulations, Vince, and it's good to get updated, like you say. I've heard of the Powell Council over, but to get some of the details. And I think it's really interesting that people didn't sit around and say, I wish somebody would do something. You decided to do it. And I think that makes a big difference in communities. It all comes from the people in the community, what they're going to do to make their community a better place. Congratulations on doing that. All things, it takes all the credit. Yeah.
I just wanted to thank you for coming too, and I agree that it's, when driving over here, it's so beautiful and it's very underdeveloped, like the area. I mean, the Highland Village is here, and I agree with you on that point that, like, say people come to Sydney and we all benefit. Well, people come to the Highland Village and I think we all benefit because people who love history come here, but then they don't just come here and then go back home. They go all over. So, yeah, I totally agree. And I wonder where is the liquor store? I've been driving around here. Oh,
I don't know.
I went for a drive around to see, I didn't see any store. I saw the bridge over here.
Just drive up to the inn, there's more, Iona Heights Inn.
Yes.
You drive down to the far end, and it's right there at the far end of the inn.
Oh, okay. It's not at the end.
Right at the far end there.
Wow. Okay.
And the pub is on this end.
And is Jill's chocolates?
And Jill chocolates, well, if you want to buy chocolates, you buy it in the, what's called the dipper, where the liquor agency.
Oh, okay.
That's referred to as the little dipper.
Okay, I'll check that out before I go home.
That's your,
Thank you.
Jackie, and I'm just gonna, Vince, I'm gonna get the two last words are gonna come from the local residents, so to speak. So Alex has a couple of questions, and then I have a final comment, and then we turn it over to Paul for this. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay, I just have a couple comments. So our grant application will be out in January for grants, so it'll be on our website. So that'll be due in March for your ask. For the economic development officer, we'll be hiring soon, but I just wanted to point out that the files all do stay with the Cape Breton Partnership. So it is good to have a person remain, but the files still exist. So that'll keep going. And then for the cemetery funding, I do believe that there's provincial funding available for community cultures and heritage. And with Ross in the room, maybe he can point you in a direction.
Were you talking about the economic development officers? I'm sorry.
The cemetery funding, we might be able to contact.
I think CCH,
Yeah.
and what we can find out,
Right.
but I would say will be somebody at CCH, and we can certainly find some contact information.
Okay.
We'll track that down here. So I just, before I turn it over to Paul, and thank you, I just wanted to mention, like, we agree with you with the potential growth for this area. It's good for you guys, it's good for us, neighbors on the lake or down north. So, and we see it here with perhaps the reemergence of the gypsum plant and a lot of the work that you've been doing here. Through Paul, you've certainly been put on the municipal map, especially in regards to Central Cape Breton Ventures. So Paul comments on it very often, keeps very much up to speed what you guys are doing. So having said that, the final word is to your local council.
No, I want to thank you, Vince, for the presentation today, and thank the board, the whole board, for Central Cape Breton Community. It's not only you that's been there for many years. I think Vince had one black hair when he started. I can't see it right now, but it's been a while since he's been on the board and actually promoting economic development for the whole area. So thank you, Vince.
I think you were the first presenter we had that was interrupted by a cat. Doing some Victoria County history as well. Anyway, thank you very much, and season's greetings to you, sir.
Thank you all.
So our second presentation this afternoon, Rodney Chesson, CAO of the Highland Village, and he's going to do a presentation for us this afternoon, and we want to congratulate Rodney has just taken over as the chair of Destination Cape Breton as well, so congratulations on your appointment as well.
Got big shoes to fill.
So you're going to do it on,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, well, thank you, welcome, Belcher from the Highland Village. Pleased to have you all here, certainly not only because you're council, but because you guys put a nice investment in place too, so very much appreciate that. The building is still final work in progress, there's still a few things to do, like acoustic tile, which is why you have the echo today. There's a few items of warranty and deficiency items the contractors are working on. And our exhibits are about 23 or 2/3 there. So there's what you see is not the finished product, but it's coming. We're getting there. So I'll just quickly give you a bit of an update. It's hard to believe that it was a year ago, October, when I presented to you last. So this is a bit of an update on the presentation. So again, many thanks to council for their significant contribution. I think as far as municipalities go, Victoria County always tends to punch above its weight, so we're very appreciative of the contribution to our program. So more than that, many thanks. Some of these are repetitive from last year, but so our vision is basically museums are rooted in a place that helps shape and convey a sense of identity, contribute to local distinctiveness of the place and people. We tell a Nova Scotia story, inspired by family values of our Gaelic ancestors, whether it's language, culture, or kinship. Our site has 12 period buildings over 4 eras, all in natural period setting with costume staff doing first person animation. We provide authentic sensorial experiences, so the ideas are the taste, the smell, the hearing, the seeing, it's all very immersive in what we're trying to do. And we're sharing and celebrating the legacy of our ancestors and challenging our community to champion that legacy into the future. Just a quick map. This is what Nova Scotia looked like at the turn of the 19th century. And the darker the green, the higher the percentage of people in those communities spoke Gaelic. And in some cases, only spoke Gaelic. This is a nice new aerial shot of our building. And that's just a quick rundown of this particular project. So the site, it was a multi-year site development strategy that began in 2015. We're at a total of $6.8 million invested in this property. It was developed with the Nova Scotia Museum and in partnership with the province of Nova Scotia, Co-op in Heritage and municipality. The structures and the exhibits are listed there, but I'll go into those. So it's a pretty sharp looking building, I think. So the centerpiece of the whole project is this particular building, new 77 square foot geographic facility, visitor reception, gift shop. We have 2 exhibition galleries, our library and archives, genealogy, which has been branded as a Shenica Center. I'll talk about that in a second. We have a multi-purpose programming space, which we're in now. Our gift shop down front, commercial kitchen in the back, our administrative offices, and it's passive house. Is the design of the building. So it's based on a German design that focuses on the building envelope to provide the energy efficiency and takes a little pressure off of the mechanics. So there's a quick map, and before anybody leaves today, I can give you a tour of the whole facility. We had a soft opening in the summer as we began to move in, and we'll be doing our official opening next spring, either May or June, and we'll make sure that everybody gets an invitation to that. This is just some inside photos. The top left hand is a gift shop. This is looking out behind the banners. A view from the hill, and our exhibit galleries that are now starting to take shape. That was taken out. I mentioned the Shenica Center. Shenicus is a Gaelic term that means traditions, and with the help of a philanthropist and friend of Jim St. Clair's, David Rumsey, who's very famous. He's a real estate developer in San Francisco, but he has the most extensive collection of heritage maps on the planet, which you can see all online. You go to davidrumsey.com. He's been a friend of Jim's for decades, and he's made a very significant contribution to our program here, as well as the McFarland Woods and Mull River, Rockage, the Museum in Malibu, and Alberta Academy in terms of scholarships. So that's all in Jim's memory. So the Shannon Center will house our library and archives, including the Victoria County Archives materials, which are all here now. Our Woodskipper genealogical materials, Jim's papers, which we're sharing with the Institute. There's a current project underway now to sort through and order his materials. David Rumsey is providing another contribution towards the digitization of those materials. So we'll be doing that as sort of phase 2, and then phase 3, hopefully have some sort of web presence with the stuff. We have the Joe McLean collection of fiddle manuscripts, which is probably one of the most extensive fiddle sheet music collections in the world. We have Donnie Campbell's collection of Celtic music recordings, Carl Mackenzie's recordings materials, and there's a whole lot more in the collection, and it's growing. The other thing we're quite excited is coming together is our exhibits. What we have here is probably 2/3 of what we're doing. So the 2 galleries here are really focused on orientation. So visitors coming to the site get oriented before they visit. And then it's kind of the bookends. When you come back down, the gallery behind us here is really to bring people up to today. Because when you tour the site, you're going from 1780s to 1920s. So there's 2 galleries there, and they're meant to be a little bit provocative. We're also working on some outdoor interpretation for Door Lakes panels. There's 5 panels going up behind the church. And next Tuesday, I think we have a meeting about our elders committee in Rockmont to advance the Mi'kmaq interpretation on site. The shingle mill is a 500 square foot timber frame building. The building itself is new. The equipment is not. The equipment comes from the 1880s. It's one of 4 surviving mills. One of 4 mills that survived a fire at a factory in Boston. They put it on a boat to go to Newfoundland. It sunk into the Great Lakes. It was salvaged by a McCush fellow who went bankrupt trying to run it. And then finally, the Cash family in Irish Cove took it on, and they operated it for decades, along with their carving mill and grist mill, which all is now here on site. So we're quite excited about that. We opened that on Pioneer Day in September. Little Barn Activity Center, so this is an on-site area for programming. It also serves as a green room for the church concerts and functions. Our washrooms are not usually a big thing, but for us, this is huge for our crucial visitation because after a bumpy drive from Sydney, the bus can go back. So we usually lose about 15-20 minutes here with the buses on site out here. So now that we can move the buses from right to the top, and that gives cruise ship passengers more time on site. That was always a bit of an issue. So a bit mundane, but important to that particular part of our visitation. Our maintenance workshop, this really brings our maintenance program to the fore. We've got 3,000 artifacts, 12 buildings, other equipment that needs to be cared for. So this meets OHS requirements and gives the boys a good spot to do the maintenance work. And once we finish the move from the old main building, this will actually be converted to a curatorial center, which will be probably about 60% artifact storage, and the other 40% will be our costume program. So we're looking forward to that. This is just a quick breakdown, 6.8 million for the total project costs. Victoria County for 100,000, actually 101,000. You guys gave us our first 1,000 towards our public campaign. Province is in for 4.2. Originally, that was supposed to be 1.2, but as the cost grew because of design costs and COVID costs and so on, the province continued to grow with that. So that was, we appreciated that. So we did set a private sector fundraising goal of 1 million, and as of today, we're pushing the last 200,000. So we're getting there. Not bad for a museum in the middle of nowhere. This is just our strategic plan, which I showed you guys last fall. So once we have this in place, we have really enhanced capacity internally to grow the kinds of things we want to do in terms of interpretation, in terms of programming, immersive experiences, creative partnerships, and of course, the team retention recruitment is everybody's talking about these days. So that's sort of our 5 pillars in moving forward. And that's just, I shared this last year. Some of the things we want to do as we move forward, focusing a wide range of opportunities to serve the community. Up until this point, we haven't had any. So, thank you.
Oh, well done, well done.
Some of this was a refresher.
We're going to open it to questions and comments, if it's okay. Thank you very much for your presentation. So, Jackie, you would start down, are you good? Or?
It's great to see that. How far you've come along. It's a beautiful spot here. I don't come here with the grandkids. They enjoy it. So keep up the good work.
Great presentation. When you talk about mundane bathroom conversation, it's a big conversation. Not just here.
I read the minutes.
I was wondering, like, what, like, you're gonna be open all year round now, instead of like seasonally,
This building,
just this building?
yeah, we will toy with doing some things on site. Weather is a huge issue, and the predictability of our winters. If we knew for sure we were gonna have a winter with lots of snow and cold, you could design something, but with the rain, it's really, because of the nature of the hill, it's difficult to plan programming.
Mhm.
But this will allow us to do it. Like even before COVID, we did snowshoe walks.
Yeah,
We usually planned 5 or 6 of them a year, and might have been able to pull off one, just because of the nature of our winters there. But certainly, this provides us the capacity for programming.
yeah, and this is the first year, so I guess it's kind of like, see what happens after the first year and how much you actually.
Well, right now, we're still moving in, so once we finish moving in the new year, we're gonna start doing our program planning for next year. So we won't actually have any programs this year. But when we announce the programming for in the spring for the next year, we'll be planning some new activities.
Councilor Patterson.
Thank you, Lord. Congratulations on the development, I guess, of the Highland Village. I remember being here close to 50 years ago, when, you know, it was just beginning. I remember the concerts on the hill that Vince referred to, and you've come a long way since then. So congratulations to you and all the people involved in making it a tourist attraction. It's basically, you know, not only an educational component too, but it's also the tourists. It's interesting, Vince says, the cruise ships in Sydney, you know, ordinary would say, well, what's that got to do with us? Well, it's got a lot to do with us. We're gonna kind of thing.
38% of our visitation in 2019 was cruise.
Thanks again, man.
Thank you. Councilor McDonald.
Yes, thank you, Warren. Thanks, Rodney, for your presentation. Sadly, it's my first visit to Ireland in this capacity, but I will definitely go back with my family back when the season comes around again. Just with your fundraising, what, may I ask, did you find was your best, you know, you're in the last portion of Seeing Your Goal, what did you find was the best initiative that took you to?
Our fundraising consultant would tell us that there was nothing traditional about our fundraising activity. And COVID was probably the biggest reason why. We engaged with RBR Developments of Halifax, Rosalie Courage, who was actually from Sydney. And we were lined up with her to start our fundraising campaign, and we had our first meeting scheduled with a good friend, philanthropist, and the next day it was lockdown. So most of our asks and most of our meetings that took place with potential philanthropists over the next 2 years were on Zoom. I don't think we've had one face-to-face meeting with any of the people that have contributed money. So it was, yeah, it was a unique process. So there'll be some analysis to do afterwards as to how we got where we did when we did. And the other thing is Rosalie passed away 10 months after we started the program, so there was a bit of a change to get it over to one of her associates. So there's certainly some challenges. But the biggest thing is that we were able to make connections with people who really believed in the culture. They were very supportive of what the village was doing. They saw the potential, and just very community-minded people who were very pro Iona Victoria County, or very pro Gaelic culture. So we've had some wonderful successes with that.
Excellent, thank you.
Councilor McLeod.
Thank you, Robbie. It's very nice to come here, and it's beautiful building. I come with my kids before, and it's very nice to see all the progress. I love to come in the summer. I'm working in the restaurant, the food industry, in hospitality in summer. And a lot of people I ask, and they don't know about Highland Village. So it's, I don't know, it's something maybe more outdoor in the hotels. They would like to something, because people from away really, they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So these are a great opportunity, because they're looking for something to do close to the lake, because of maybe the rain or no rain, or just something when they go to Halifax. So I don't know if you're marketing or something.
A lot kept secret in some ways, and
It is.
we wanted to know.
Exactly, but I think that a lot of people like see the paper and the map where it's at, because they can go after, but if they don't know anything about it, they will never look at it. So you have a good potential there, so it's beautiful to share,
Great.
right?
Councilor McNeil.
And thank you, Rodney, for all the hard work you've done over the years. And, not only you, but I know you've had an experienced staff. Exactly, and over the years too, it's not only important for the cultural aspect, but the economic and employment aspect to you too. Like during the summer, what's what, 40?
With summer students this year, there was 46 of us, I think. out there.
So it's really important, and when you came to me probably 7 years ago, actually, I think it was at the college, I think you said, yeah.
Thank you.
So, just to wrap up, thank you very much. And, we talked about recognizing the potential of this area. We're sitting in that potential today, the development and growth that has been established here in the last couple of years. And I think to go back to Councilor Neal's point, I probably said it last year, this is probably the best money we ever invested, because it just became a project that really took off and was well supported by all levels of government, which speaks to the value of the project itself.
We've pretty much leveraged almost $7 million.
So if we could do that every time and get this. And I should mention too that, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were the recipient of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee for your 70th Platinum Jubilee, Elizabeth. And that was to in recognition and commitment to your community as well. So we want to as a Victoria County resident, I'm going to recognize you and congratulate you and mine as well. So,
Thank you.
and thanks for the excellent presentation. These are great presentations, so positive. And we look at the development in Victoria, English kind of going. We've got Iona kind of going. We've got things into that kind of going. So it speaks well for our community, our county as we move forward. So this is just another piece in the puzzle. So
I should also mention, we've done present.
and I hope that I'm sure they were proud of us support as well. So with that, we're going to take it, I'm sorry, just before.
I
we
just
get-
have one more question in regard to Norman's question. Like, are you sharing your philanthropist list?
We will be making some of it public, but there's, yeah, it depends on what the wishes are from each of the donors. We are gonna have a donor wall to the right of the book off. So, yeah. Where they can be public, they will be public.
Okay. Thank you.
I was actually, when I started, I went to the hospital and I took pictures and I took pictures of the donor wall, that's how we started.
That's a good idea.
You gotta start. You gotta start something.
All right, just the last thing. Did I give you guys these before? No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. There's a little booklet to the village. And there's one for
A 15-minute break, and we'll reconvene in about 15 minutes. And thanks again for your hospitality, and thanks all for selecting.
Do you have anything you want to add?
All right, thank you very much. We're going to reconvene council. And the next item on the agenda is the minutes from the council meeting on November 7th, 2022. Those minutes have been circulated to you. You've had a chance to review them. Were there any errors or omissions in those minutes? Hearing none, can we have a motion to accept the minutes of the council November 7th, 2022?
I move.
Thank you. Councillor Longa has moved. We have a seconder, please.
Second.
Sorry, Councillor Patterson, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is carried. The minutes have been approved.
And just one question, Alex, did we find anything more with the windmill?
So I'm still looking for a copy of the agreement.
Okay, yeah. No, I should-
Yeah, the retirement of the director of
Yeah.
taxation is gonna find it, but I haven't reached out to see if they can send us a copy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. so
Thank
I'm still waiting.
Yeah. thank you very much.
Councillor. We're going to move on to the CAO's report, and Alex will provide that today.
Okay, so we're still working with Destination Cape Breton and their project manager regarding the English housing project. The subdivision plan has been completed and be submitted soon, and then it's also been sent off to legal. We've received approval from the UARB for the Dingwall water storage tank replacement project. And we've signed our contract with Ontario to move forward with that. We had submitted an application for the smart meters or radio meter project, and they responded that will come as part of a decision on outcomes part of the rate hearing. The rate hearing is scheduled for tomorrow at the courthouse at 11:30 with the UARB. For the municipal boundary review, we had community sessions held November 17th. In the morning it was in New Haven, and in the afternoon it was in Quebec. Well, we'll be submitting the municipal boundary recommendation to the UARB in December. We've received a response from Saltwire regarding the cancellation of newspaper delivery of smoking. Been provided the number for the customer service center as well as a contact direct phone number for anyone. And for finance, we had our tax sale on November 22nd. It was a very successful tax sale. We originally advertised 33 properties. 6 of those were referred to a future tax sale for a variety of reasons. 10 of those were paid prior to the sale, so that left 17 available for sale at the public auction. 15 of them were sold. Of those 15, one of them, the balance is not paid, so we will see them at a future sale. So it was just 2 of them that weren't sold. So there were some properties that were listed on the list that have been around for a long time that have sold. So it was great to see them cleared up. We collected nearly $35,000 in outstanding taxes, and the surplus this time around is $150,000. The tax update, so this is as of the end of day of tax sale, so November 22nd, there was 1.318 million outstanding compared to 1.475 million outstanding at the same time last year. Just some perspective on the arrears that's outstanding. So going back to 2019 on the same day, the arrears outstanding was 675,000. Same day in 2020, 655,000. 2021, 459,000. And as of this year, the arrears outstanding is 298,000. So when you put it like that, it's very considerable. So again, the efforts that are going on there definitely deserve to be commended. From Human Resources from hiring, just an update, we're interviewing with the Public Works Clerk. Interviews are in progress for Communications Coordinator. We've made an offer for hiring a solid waste educator, and all Public Works attendance positions in the depth have been filled. From our Public Works Department, we attended an online meeting regarding the proposed C&D regulations. We're not in agreement with these regulations, so we're going to be submitting our concerns on the proposed regulations to the Department of Environment by December 9. The renovations of the Bedeck warehouse have been complete. We will have to, just a heads up that we're going to have to haul brush, C&D, and shingles out of the Dingwall site in the very near future. future. And we know that this is going to come at a significant cost. We've heard about our new side loader, and we've received good news that it could be here by the end of March or early April, so that's great. We did reach out to that trucking rental and leasing company in Ontario. It's not a long-term solution because it is very expensive, but it's definitely an option if we ever get to a situation where we need it. The repairs to the old school in Ingonish are starting on Monday. There was damage to the roof there caused by Hurricane Fiona. The Department of Environment will be on site in their Nails Harbor water plant. And we'll be issuing a new operating approval. And we trucked and disposed of 50 lobster traps from Lighthouse Road in Nails Harbor to the deck. It was collected by the Coastal Action Group, and they were in the area collecting ghost gear that washed ashore during Fiona. So we trucked that, and we'll get the remainder of it this week. From tourism, we attended the CBU's World Tourism Institute workshops on reimagining the tourism workforce. There was lots of valuable information there regarding the workforce challenges, and it was clear that the issues that are affecting worldwide tourism destinations. The Tourism Summit is coming up at the end of the month, and it's the first in-person conference held since 2019. We've held our first Ingonish STEP steering committee, so the Sustainable Tourism Expansion Program in Ingonish, and it was local community representatives, COA, Tourism Atlantic, Nova Scotia Tourism, and Destination Cape Breton. It's a 12 to 24 month program, and the end result will be a 12-month action plan regarding growing tourism in that region with its focus on sustainable growth. We're also participating in an upcoming pilot program with Tourism Nova Scotia for compelling tourism communities emerging winter destination pilot program for Ingonish. It's working with local operators to create compelling and attractive winter packages and activities to promote and market. In recreation, we attended the provincial physical activity education meeting last week to discuss trends in physical education. We are working on a dynamic trail workout pilot project that could be rolled out to many trails within the county. We're also working on a multi-sport pilot program to potentially launch across all areas of the county for future years. From community development, an update on the Dingwall placemaking location. The work has been complete. We resurfaced the basketball court, put in new amenities and a picnic shelter, a walking track, solar lighting, and waste bins. The community the feedback from the local community has been really good. And the next steps will be to get funding and design concepts on the playground for the area and hosting events there on site next summer. The St. Anne's Bay Development Association hosted an open house for a new gathering project, placemaking on the North Shore or in Indian Brook. The site has been transformed there, and it's now it's a lovely gathering space for residents to visit. And the Rossberry Stewardship Society project has begun and should be completed next summer, just enhancing the parking area and gardening area, freshening up the site with signage and amenities on site. And trails, there's been a lot of meetings happening regarding snowmobile clubs preparing for the upcoming season, digging into the challenges. And there's a lot of work happening right now for volunteers to get things safe and secure after Hurricane Fiona. There are also some bridges that will need upgrades there. And last on trails, we still have yet to hear on the large infrastructure and the grant that we submitted back in March, so we're still waiting on that one. From our senior safeties department, we've submitted a couple grant applications, one for municipal asset resource map to hire a communications company that can map out local resources and create a database for seniors to use on these resources. We also submitted a grant called Seniors Cook at the Food Hub, looking to facilitate cooking classes for seniors renting the Food Hub commercial kitchen. The Active Collectively project is now underway and currently recruiting anyone over 65 to participate in a survey about their needs. Anyone that might be interested can contact Cassandra or Keely. working with the RCMP on a tour of presentations to go out to all the districts to provide information about fraud and scams to seniors. Accessibility committee is scheduled to meet December 1st to review the drafted accessibility plan. And then just a couple other little items. We did receive a concern regarding litter at the waste management facility. This is an ongoing issue. Staff do perform yard cleanup outside the regular duties. We can always do better. We're also installing a fence, so we can snow fence to catch debris, and this response has consent to the resident. And last week, from the 21st to the 27th, was Municipal Awareness Week, just to recognize municipal staff and councilors for their significant contributions.
Thank you very much. That report was circulated to you prior to today's meeting. You had a chance to review it. Thank you for providing the overview. Are there any questions?
Letters have gone around this area too from Saltwater, the papers not being delivered, so concerns there for the seniors in the area. We want to get the papers, so they look forward to reading them every morning.
Okay. Thank you. So it's not only north, it's the Washash Peninsula as well.
As I understand, it's all rural areas that are not going to be receiving the papers anymore. Can you give us all the phone number to put it on, or is it on the website?
It's not on the website. It wasn't in the email at all.
Yeah, can you put it on our website for our residents to call?
Thank you, Councillor. Did you have a comment, Councillor Patton?
No.
So we good at CAO's report? Thank you very much. We're going to move on to district concerns, and we'll start with Councillor Horton. Please.
I'd just like to publicly thank Public Works for the work that was done in the Meals Harbor and Newman area, the bridge, paving, the rock that was in. But I'm still waiting to hear about the possibility of a streetlight on the turnoff of the community of Waypoint. I see is a danger. Also, the no parking signs for the bus turning. And also reporting, as you know, of all the rain that we had in the area. Once again, District 6 and 7 were flooding again. Flooding happened on the bridge by the fire hall. I will be emailing Mr. McDonald again on these issues, but I just want to have them recorded in the minutes. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Long, anything from the district?
I had them all typed here nicely that I could read, and they have somewhere disappeared. And my phone's gonna die. And my phone's gonna die any minute, so here we go. We did have, as Alex mentioned, we did have a grand opening of the gathering place, and I'd like to congratulate Mary Ann Wilson and all the other local people, or all the other folks who contributed in any way to making that a beautiful and welcoming place. There is even a sheltered sitting area, so it can be used in inclement weather too. And thank you to our MLA Keith Bain, who did attend the opening, and it was funded in part by Victoria County under the placemaking initiative and also ACOLA. I'd like to thank Victoria County and ACOLA for that. I also saw an interesting thing about, it's called the SCCF, Sustainable Communities Challenge Fund. And it's like $75,000 to $11,000 available to nonprofits. It's non-refundable, but you have to contribute 20 to 40%. And I'm not sure if it's part of that is 10% in kind or if it's 10%. I do have an email for them, which my phone just died, so. And that's all I have from District 4.
Yeah, please send those.
I am sending you that when I find it here. I'll be sending you.
We'll come back to it.
Thank you.
Great, no problem. District number 5.
Nothing, Gordon?
Oh, very good.
Fine.
Thank you. Good job, sir. Good job. Councilor McDonald, district number 8.
Sir, thank you, Warren. Just a few this evening, for our public works. Apologize for that. At 75 Mead Cove Road, there's a culvert that has collapsed there. I had a person that called me today with that regarding that 75 Mead Cove Road. And I had mentioned to council earlier, I took the process upon myself to call the TIR number to report the issue. And I just wanted to put it there that how my concern was perceived as a councillor wasn't very welcome, as the best word to use, right? Because I had stated that this was the civic address of where the culvert was, had been collapsed, and they're trying to tell me that the road doesn't exist, it's not on their map. So I in turn tried to tell them I know where the road was at. It was short of argumentative, to be honest with you. So I will take it upon myself to call Steve McDonald with that. I just want other people to know that there are frustrations at mill when the public do call that TIR number. Because in my opinion, to reiterate Marilyn McGinnis's past friends, it's just a waste of time. I'm sorry, but we're up. Dingwall Road is coming to a complete, which is a very well presented in the community. It's a great job. There's just a do with things like that. That's all good. And just looking here. On a sad note, on the end of St. Margaret's Co-op store has closed its doors after 50 years of service as a local co-op that served the community since roughly 1948. And just want to make a note that it's gone. It's been there for all those years, and just due to support issues, supply chains, that they can't keep their doors open. So I believe their last day is this week. And that's it for my area in District 8.
Thank you very much for that, and it's unfortunate that the co-op is closing down. Councilor McLeod, your district, please.
Yes, thank you, Warren. First one, we was meeting with the principal from the DAC Academy from Miller. We're having a conversation on the Warren Morrison principal for the night regarding some upgrades in the school about like a track and lights in the soccer field. So it's just in the meeting. It's about how we can help, and maybe provincial federal will come with us too. Secondly, in the second meeting from the school, the absence from the students is very high. And one of them was, students were asking why they took the final exams when you have a 100% assistant. In the end, sometimes you have except English or some final exam. So they probably took out that bonus. So I just want if I can send a letter to the Ministry of Education about, or Ministry, it's a policy, so one day they can put it back, right? Or just have a review about that. So I want to make a motion about that.
We have a motion. Do we have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Councilor McNeil. All in favor? I'm reminded.
The second, about the federal government asked about the OPHA grant for New Year for the heat pumps. I received some phone calls about what it's all about. So I wonder if we can contact the office of the MP at least and give us some information regarding that, because the people is interested about that.
It is a federal announcement.
Yeah, it's in starting New Year's, but it will be nice if we have information ahead, right?
Probably should be informed.
In a partial motion? Okay, I was
letter.
Do you want a letter or staff to contact me?
I'll just maybe the staff first, and if they have any information, it's done.
We don't need a motion if we just ask the staff to contact us.
And when we have the conversation with the academy, I asked him to District 3 and District 4, they see a lot of kids that are not eating. Like the food bank, the food in the school is constantly gone. So I wonder if we can have a donation for the breakfast program and lunch. Sometimes the kids are there, so $1,250 each district on the budget, District 3 and 4. Would you okay with that? And we can just name for that regarding for food for the breakfast program.
Yeah, unless there's a municipal program or slash grant that may cover that. Okay. Yeah, to me, that, I think that could be a discretionary thing from council's discretionary budget. Food program for the school as opposed to.
For all the schools, I don't have the.
We could do it for each of the schools that may be required.
Usually, we always used to do capital, I would take 500 from our budget once,
For that,
just for capital.
Just for capital.
Just did the little schools, not that, no.
so that can't be a district budget. Okay, well, in fairness,
Okay,
we'll take it for now.
Yeah, there's no lunch programs for the school.
Okay, this is the breakfast.
Yeah, it's breakfast and
I don't
they
know
have
if that's
some
either.
lunch boxes of snacks for the kids on the high school. They don't have lunches. They go to the office and just ask for that. And they see right now, we're in the stream, like any donations for the school because it sounds like the economy is getting very hit with these prices of food up. So kids are bringing lunches and snacks.
Okay, well,
So that's 250,
250.
2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, 2 to.
I'm good.
You go.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, great.
Just like, we had the parade last Saturday with a windy, rainy day, so, but I just want to say thank you to Chris and Colleen for help us to decorate the bus and Bruce Warren for the driving bus. Thank you. And for Victoria County Transit, they give us the bus.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillor McNeil.
Just FYI, Mr. Public, Nova Scotia Public Works, there are 3 items, Red Point Road was flooded last spring, and there was damage done to the new work, and nothing's been done to repair it, so I've been in contact with Steve McDonald on all these items. There's a dangerous item down here on Hector's Point, they put a new driveway here, and they put a break in the guardrail and never fixed the guardrail when they completed it. And especially now in the winter time, it's a sharp turn and people lose control of the way. Also flooding in St. Paul caused by beavers, and we'll have to put traffic there again. That's it for Nova Scotia Public Works. I've received a number of phone calls about water bill problems this past week. There was late charges on bills that people didn't know about. And also there was at least one item that the water bill was incorrect. And I'm wondering if there could be checks and balances before the water bills to make sure that these items don't occur. I know the water utility has got a number of phone calls on, and it's not only in this area, I think it's throughout the community, so. Also, washrooms were mentioned in Vince McLean's presentation at Portland, Illinois. They're just wondering, is there any support for washrooms probably in the future this summer when through the county? So I know there was some in the past, but yeah, exactly. And also, I'd like to make a motion that $1,000 be taken out of my district budget for Rankin School and Morris for food program there.
We have a motion from Councillor McNeil. We have a second, please.
Second.
Second by Councillor Organ. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm reminded. Wash. Motion's carried.
And again, I'd like to thank Rob Jessa for facilitating.
So your question, the Washington question is going to refer to staff. Yeah. Deputy Warden is not here today, but he had a motion that he would like, and I'll make it on his behalf, $1,000 to the Santa Walk. And they raise money for hot meals and free meals to small schools, so I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Thank you. Somebody else, can you chair?
Oh, yeah. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Thank you. Secondly, the second motion, there is a sign that Trans-Canada Trail is erected down on Water Street, Quebec. And it appears to be in the middle of the public launch. So I would just like to make a motion that we ask our Director of Trail Tourism to contact Trans-Canada Trail and find out about the relocation of that sign, should it be required, that it is indeed established, and then to put it in a new location, relocate it if indeed is required. So I'd like to make that motion. So,
Second that.
To relocate the sign, is there, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Contrary, nay.
and just two quick acknowledgements. We want to acknowledge Belinda Garland and the group that did the organized festivities for Invidac for Christmas celebrations, including the parade last week or on Saturday or this past weekend. So just sending a note, just acknowledging the appreciation to them. And secondly, as CFO has mentioned, the tax sale and an individual that attends many tax sales in many different municipalities, and he said by far the most organized, well-run tax sales are the ones that are now being conducted in Victoria County. So we want to pass along to your staff compliments of council and the participants for the professional way in which they're done. And last but not least, I also acknowledge the way that you folks have dropped the amount down to $258,000. That's remarkable over the last. So kudos to staff for doing that as well.
Can I add one thing? I forgot,
Sure.
it's in my minutes. I'd just like to show a thanks to the Niels Harbor Pavement Development Society for their hard work on the new cenotaph that was erected in New Haven. It's beautiful, and we had a wonderful attendance for the opening, the unveiling of it on the November 11th Remembrance Day. So just a shout out for all the hard work they did. It's greatly appreciated by the community.
Well, thank you for doing that, and we appreciate that, and we congratulate them and acknowledge them as well. So that is district concerns. Are there any other motions this evening, this afternoon? Any correspondence? Oh, yes, one other thing that I should have mentioned. We have a staff appreciation that we always gave to staff. Used to be $25, but in light of current costs, I'd like to make a motion that we increase that to $50 this year. And I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion that the staff appreciation be up to $50. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Thank you. Is there any correspondence? All consent? We need a motion to go in camera. We have two items to go in camera. They're very brief items, but we need a motion to go in camera, please, and we'll have to ask people. And if you're not coming back, Rodney, thank you again, as many people said, for your location and hospitality. We very much appreciate it. So.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
We'll see you on the March 4th.
Good to see everyone.
Cheers. So we are back from in camera. Do we have a motion to come out of in camera, please?
I make a motion that we.
It's been moved by Councillor Longo to come out of in camera. Do we have a second for that?
Second.
Second by Councillor McLeod. All in favor? Aye. Reminder, the motion is carried. Recommendations from in camera. We need a motion to accept those recommendations. Moved by Councillor McNeil. If we accept the recommendations from the in camera session, we have a second, please. Second. Second by Councillor McDonald. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion adjourned. Yeah, our next council meeting is December 12th, 2 p.m. in the deck, and we want to thank Paul again for hosting council in his district today.
Thank you.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Moved by Councillor Patterson.